One. Hello.
Hello.
Um. There we go. Oh, now there's the Zoom stuff on the bottom. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It'll disappear. What is up?
What is up? Welcome to What Next? My name's Haley.
And I am Connor DeWolf, or as you know me on the internet, that ADHD guy.
Yeah, and I'm your sister.
And Haley DeWolf is my sister. She also has a TikTok. Shout out to her TikTok. And she talks about ADHD, and she's been posting a lot recently.
Well, not in the last 2 weeks, but yeah, thanks. Sorry if the audio is a little messed up on my end, by the way. And if you hear my dog Banks. But yeah, thanks for the shout out, dude. You're that ADHD guy.
Well, I only say that because when I posted my video, it goes to your following, like who you're following page, and it shows all the TikToks, and it was just like endless, like you, and I was like, holy shit, she's been posting a lot.
Yeah, well, so I read a very popular book on TikTok because I'm obsessed with Sarah J. Maas, and so I live reacted to like my reading of half that book.
Nice. Yeah.
Which was fun. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, which was fun. And do you want to know what's even funnier too, though? Like, I recorded myself, like, doing, because there's this thing on TikTok, on, like, Book Talk, of, like, silent book reviews. And so I, like, filmed that as I was reading. But, of course, I didn't end up posting it. And so I have just all of these things, like, sitting in there. And now, like, the fad is, like, kind of faded. And people are done reading.
For the people not watching, I made the most confused face. What is silent book reviews? Please explain.
So basically, it's just you, like, reacting to the book.
Just with your facial expressions?
Yeah, I'll send you some of the clips I recorded, because, no, they're, like, so funny. And, like, what people will do is they'll hold up a book, and they'll be like,
oh.
and then, like, so for those listening, I, like, made, like, it was okay face.
Oh, boy.
And so I recorded, like, me, like, reading the book, like,
no, you didn't.
yeah, I did, and then I never compiled them.
So wait, did you upload a video with that?
No.
Okay, good. Good. That's one trend I don't know if I'd approve. That's weird. That is, in my opinion, I don't rip on anybody for their creative expression, but that is weird, dude.
You're also not on Book Talk.
I'm also not on Book Talk very often. I should read more. I was thinking about that literally the other day, because, like, you know, when you're bored and you're, like, getting trapped in the doom scrolling of, like, Instagram or TikTok, because Instagram is just as good as TikTok now, which sucks. Like, they are just as good. Like, they know me more than TikTok at this point.
Okay, I love that you said that, because I have been an Instagram diehard from the beginning. And Alex, my fiance, for those who don't know, always makes fun of me because I'm on Instagram more than I am on any other social media. And he always says, like, oh, things go to Instagram, like, later.
Yeah.
But you know what?
It's not true anymore.
You heard it here first, Frank.
When I first started, it was always TikTok first, Instagram Reels next. But now it is opposite. Like, I feel like Instagram gets everything first now. It is ridiculous. Yeah. It's stupid. But also,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Well, and they know me better too, because all my Instagram is just dog videos of Rottweilers and King Charles Spaniels and cat videos.
I love that for you, though.
Yeah, I love it too.
Yeah.
Because it makes me appreciate, like, my dogs. Like, it's beautiful, because, like, sometimes I'll, like, be disciplining Ryder because he's a Rottweiler, and it does require some discipline in the training, because he's a dog that thinks he's as tiny as his cat sister, but he's 85 pounds at 9 months old. And so, like, you know, I'll have to discipline him, and then I'll go on Instagram for 2 seconds, and then I'll be like, oh, I love my dog so much. You know?
That's really sweet, though. I love that.
Yeah, I love my dogs.
Oh.
And my cat. Oh my goodness, Tala is so beautiful.
Oh, yeah, I saw your video that you posted of your little baby.
I know. It didn't even get many views, and I knew it wouldn't.
Okay.
But I don't care because I just wanted to show off my babies.
There you go. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Also, I have to say, I love that, like, last episode, our first episode, which if you haven't listened to, you should go listen to.
You should go listen to it, even though at this point, right now in real life, it is not uploaded yet.
It is not a thing right now, but it will be.
It will be.
I love that you were all like, "Oh, I'm so out of it. I'm like so spacey," and I like remember saying like, "Oh, it's fine because probably like the next episode I'll probably be like that," and so we'll just go back and forth. And
Surprise. I am totally into it. I was very looking forward to this podcast today. I didn't do any research because I had a busy day. I went to the Detroit Institute of Arts museum, and wow, I saw a Van Gogh painting, and when you see Van Gogh, it's just like, oh.
Hold on. Are you telling me that Connor DeWolf appreciated seeing paintings in a museum?
I really did. And you know, it's partially because of Doctor Who.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Because they have an episode with Van Gogh, and it made me bawl my eyes out a couple weeks ago.
It is beautiful.
It's one of the greatest episodes that exists of Doctor Who. Like, because it's also Matt Smith era, and don't even get me started about Matt Smith.
Yeah.
And just seeing the same, like, portrait that he made in Doctor Who. I don't know. It was like, it was less about the art and more about a different type of art, which is Doctor Who. But I just looked at it for like 5 minutes just in awe.
Yeah.
Because he saw reality in like straight up pixels. Like he saw reality for what it was, like just tiny bits of paint strokes. Like even his shadows, like and his contrast were all just strokes of a slightly different like pigment, just a slightly darker I don't know. It was great.
I love this, and I'm soaking up every minute of this because friends listening, this person who just described all of that is the same person who, on a trip to New York that we made, we went to
the MoMA or what is it called? Yeah, the Metropolitan Art. Yeah,
Museum of Art. So we went to the Met. We went to MoMA on Free Friday.
MoMA, that's what it is.
I was geeking out because I love art museums and I talk about art like that. And one of my favorite painters was exhibiting. They had a huge Degas,
which I saw at this one as well. Beautiful.
Degas is incredible. And what did this little? I was about to say a-hole, but I feel like we need to keep this. Like,
15-year-old.
Yeah, this little 15-year-old. Every time I would look at a piece of art, he'd be like, "I could paint that.
I could do that.
I could paint that."
Yeah.
And then the worst part was he went home and he did.
I did it. On the car ride home, I recreated a Degas with a number 2 mechanical pencil, 0.7 lead.
And so I just love that you appreciated art in a museum and weren't just.
Yeah, it is really like I want to go visit the Kansas City one again. I want to go revisit the New York one again, because when you are older, it is like a true appreciation of like the emotion that was put into it, you know?
You would love the Tate Modern in London. Like, I'm sad you didn't go.
You went to that?
Huh?
When we were in London?
Yeah, I spent like half the day at Tate Modern. It was incredible.
Where was I?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't know where I was.
Where you were. But still to this day, that is like one of my favorite things that we did in London, and Tate Modern is probably like my favorite museum.
That's amazing. Yeah, and half of Van Gogh's stuff is in, well, most of it's in the in Amsterdam at the Van Gogh Museum because I did all this research earlier. But
I love that.
there's a lot in the London Art Museum, and I am obsessed with that guy because like he was obviously like very neurodivergent in a very cool way, and he saw the world in such a different perspective, and I'm obsessed with him. And no one saw it. He was only famous after he died.
Yeah.
And he was so cool.
Yeah. I like Van Gogh like reminds me of like that saying like a legacy. Oh, I think it's Hamilton too. They like re-say it, but it's like a legacy is like roots in the ground.
What is a legacy?
Yeah, and like you never get to see the fruition of it. And like,
like the plants of a tree you never get to see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is a legacy? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's awesome though. I love that you did that.
Yeah, no, it really was. It was inspiring because I have such a new appreciation for art, and like even I was obsessed. Like honestly, my favorite part was the Native American section.
Ooh.
Because it was all like BC. It was all BC.
Yeah.
So it was like super old stuff, and I don't know, like for some reason that fascinates me because there's a part of my brain that doesn't comprehend the fact that like we went from like it goes backwards. It's like a negative, so it's like 1 BC, and then it grows in a number, but it's farther in the past. But like so like the higher the BC, I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like us as humans, we are so cool. Like we started making masks and like things for rituals and like this like weird ass knives for some reason.
True. Dude, you need to go back to in Kansas City. It's Nelson Atkins, right?
Nelson Atkins, yeah.
Yeah. Because they have a huge Native American art.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Probably even bigger than Detroit, yeah. Because when we were kids and we were in middle school and elementary school in Kansas, like that was all of our field trips was to Native American lands. Because Kansas was like the hub.
That's like Kansas is.
Yeah. Like we had the cowboys. Like Texas they can do their own thing, but they never had true cowboys like Kansas.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, Fort Worth did, but.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about Fort Worth later. I don't know much about it. That's why I'm saying we can talk. Okay, so we should get to the topic of the video.
Well, but okay, so that was so I love that you started talking about what you did this morning and today.
Oh yes, that was our start of the podcast, right? Good. Look at me. I'm already ahead of it.
But no, because that brings us to our topic, which is you woke up. What next?
Yeah.
If you're Connor on March 12th, as we're recording this, you went to an art museum.
You went straight to an art museum.
Yeah. If you're me, you had plans to get up at I think I wanted to get up at 5:30. Mm-hmm. Because I started a new job this week. Yeah,
that's amazing. You started on Monday. Mother just told me.
Yeah, I started yesterday, and I absolutely love it.
Can you explain to the audience what you do? Because I also need clarity. I totally, it's.
Yeah, so currently right now what I'm doing is kind of studying, but then also taking the courses for my RBT, which is Registered Behavior Technician.
Nice.
So I work for a clinic-based ABA Autism Therapy Center.
Sick.
So we work with kiddos 18 months to I think 6 years old.
Nice.
I provide ABA therapy for kiddos with autism. And so this whole first week, and it's only Tuesday, but this whole first week and then all of next week pretty much too, is just going to be studying to take the RBT exam. And then my end goal and end game with it is that I will be a BCBA, which is a board certified behavior analyst.
Sick.
And so, so for people who don't know, I have my degree in social work. So mental health, behavioral health, stuff like that is like my jam. And so when that slides into the podcast, that's why.
Yeah, and just so the TikTok, just so the podcast knows, I have a TikTok where I make sketch comedy videos about ADHD. So I'm basically on the same level of qualifications when it comes to mental health and helping people out.
But yeah, no, and so it's like super fun. But like, what's really cool is like I was doing like the trainings today.
Yeah.
And it was like giving me like topics for like this podcast and like talking about like how to actually like formulate advice to like give to the people.
Oh, that's dope.
But then also like content for us. But yeah, so that's what I do. So I work in I'm an ABA provider.
So you like assess the kids and like see what kind of accommodations they need? Is that what it is?
No, so what it is so it's basically like a really small specialized school.
Okay.
So currently we have 10 kiddos at our clinic. And they are there all day.
Nice.
And they see multiple different behavior techs, multiple different BCBAs, and are just doing, or I shouldn't say just, and are doing like ABA therapy throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
That is like based upon like their goals, their treatment plans, but then also that's incorporating like at their level like schoolwork and stuff. So like we'll have like science and art and like math and things like that. And then all of those though are incorporating like ABA and working with their like pivotal skills that they need, like those social skills, communication. A lot of what we do is like communication based, working with them because
does that involve like speech therapy and stuff?
So we have speech therapists who come in and do
Nice.
like services with us, but we just focus on like the behavior. So when it comes to like speech in terms of behavior, it's like working with the kiddo to like, rather than drag you over to the toy they want, express vocally or like sign or like some other way of communication, like what the toy they want is and stuff.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so if anyone wants to learn more about ABA, I could talk about ABA forever. But yeah, so it's
That's
really
awesome.
fun. I absolutely love it. I'm just doing like training right now. But this is something that I've done before in school districts in Arkansas. I don't know if you remember when I did that.
Yeah, in college? So you're experienced in it.
Yeah, so I'm getting to do it again, which I'm like so excited about.
Yeah, that's dope. And that's kind of like what, like in college, that's what like you kind of wanted to get into. So like,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. No, exactly. And so, like, for those of you who don't know, I graduated in 2020, and since then have had too expansive of a career. I've had, like, too many jobs for someone my age.
Yeah.
And so that was, like, a huge motivator for me. Like, I took, like, a major pay cut, which is something we can chat about more later in the, other episodes. But, what I'm really excited about is it is like the path that I always wanted to go on.
Yeah.
End goal, I'll be like a clinical director at a clinic and writing the curriculum for the clinics for the kiddos every day. And then end goal is to be like an author writing children's books that incorporate ABA and evidence-based.
Yeah.
So
that is really cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so I had my second day of work today. And so at our clinic, we have to get there at like 8 a.m. And so I wanted to get up at like 5:30 to prep for our podcast.
Nice.
And to like do dishes and like, actually get ready and stuff. That did not happen.
Okay. That's all right.
Yeah. I got up at 7:15.
Okay. Not bad.
What's good though is that I live 6 minutes away from my work. So it's really nice. Yeah. So I was able
that's
to
insane.
Kind of halfway get ready. I was able to take Banks on a walk and stuff, but
that is crazy.
Plenty of time, which was good. I know. Especially like considering some of my other like jobs that I've had.
Yeah.
I had like 45 minute to an hour commutes, and so now that it's only 6 minutes, I like don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
There's none of that Like that waiting in the parking lot.
I know. Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I like made the joke like yesterday on my first day. I was like, I'm gonna need to do like my pump up before I even get in the car. 'Cause
Yeah.
Usually like that 45 minutes in the car is when I'm like putting on like a Broadway style concert
Right.
for myself and other commuters, and so now I don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like one of the things that's really funny too is like, so that's why I'm a little drained, everyone. That's why I'm a little exhausted today, is because I'm just starting.
You don't seem like it. You're a natural born presenter, Haley.
Oh, well, thank you. It's funny, like one of the things that I am like noticing and like accepting about myself is like anywhere I go, I'm like energy girl.
Yeah. And that can be draining.
So it is draining.
I bet it's insanely draining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like that's like everywhere I go, that's what
Yeah.
I'm like known for, which is good, but also yeah, like
No, it's like a because it happens to me too, depending on like the situation, and like it's like everyone puts all of their emotions on you.
yeah.
It's just a lot of just they'll trauma dump, info dump. They'll put everything on you, and you're because like that's the vibe you give off. Like that's the energy. Like it's like I'm the empathetic person that can be abused and used right now.
Like that, but also like I am like people I feel like, and I am so happy about this. Like I love this about myself. It's one of my favorite things about myself. Like in interviews, like I describe myself as like I am the motivational football coach in those like motivational movies, except I'm like don't even know how to throw a ball. But like I'm just like realizing like, okay, I need to work on like making sure that as I'm like recharging and empowering and motivating and getting everyone else jazzed and psyched, I'm still taking the time to like jazz myself up.
Exactly.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know too, because I took like a major pay cut, I'm also working a part-time job.
Which is perfect timing though, because she happens to be getting married soon, and so she has a job at
a bridal place.
Which is so like how perfect is that? Are you kidding me?
It is. It's like really perfect. But like what's really funny and like one of my this just really shows how much of like a words of affirmation person I am, because I love reading my reviews.
Really? They give reviews.
Oh yeah, no, like customers will post reviews about me because I'm like a stylist.
Wow. On what? Like Yelp or what?
Yeah, Google reviews. Yeah.
Wow.
And so, like one of the most recent ones was like, Haley is the ultimate hype girl. And I was like, I love that, because that is who I want to be.
Yeah.
Especially in like that setting. But I'm like, dang, I need like a hype person too. So you're bringing hype to this episode.
Well, that's good.
Because I needed to be hyped.
Good. And you always have your internal hype person. You just got to access it.
It's true.
It's always there. It's not gone.
It's true.
It's always in you.
True.
Yeah.
I love that I'm able to do that for people.
Yeah, I've always admired that about you, and I've always been envious about the fact that you can liven up a room so fast. I have to perform to liven up a room, but you can just talk. So.
Oh, thanks. No.
You're awesome.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. But yeah, okay, so let's get into the meat of it.
Let's get into the meat of it.
That's my biggest transition from this last week. Or is that like I started a new job? Did you have any crazy transitions? Big or small?
Big or small transitions. I would say, yeah, I think even today, like going from, it is just weirdly hard to transition mindsets, because it takes a minute to be, and it can be kind of draining to like, you're waking up, you're taking out the dogs, you're doing these like mundane things, and then you go into an art museum and it's all this beautiful art, and it really does take a second, because like, you know, I noticed myself, I was like not taking it seriously, and I was just like, you know, making jokes about it, like, oh, look at this thing. Humans are so weird. Why do we make this? And then you start to appreciate it. Yeah, even I was thinking about this the other day. Even when you're in the mode of something and you're in the zone of doing something, even the littlest thing as like going pee can throw you the fuck off. Like, I was in the zone, I was reading a script, and I was like, okay, I had that internal brain thing, and it was like, hey dude, you have to go pee. And I was like, no, I can't stop. If I stop now, there's no way I'm going to come back to it, because right now I'm so in the zone. And like, I went pee, and then I just like, you know, you just skim and half-ass the read. And I was like, I knew this fucking thing was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because like,
no, it's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so annoying because like I had this audition and I wanted to read this play, and I was, or not play, but movie, and I was so into it, and I was like with all the characters on their journey, and then I fucking had to pee, and then after the pee I was like not as into it. And like that tiny ass transition threw me off.
Yeah, no, it was funny. I was doing my trainings today, and like a huge, like, one of the foundational pieces of like ABA and like, so which is applied behavioral analysis. So like that whole science is that behavior like occurs for two reasons: to escape or to gain something. And it's like, and then one of the things that like they were talking about is like one of the like main reasons for like undesirable behavior within like students or like dangerous or like that sort of thing behaviors is to escape transitions.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why you'll like keep doing something.
Yeah. It's like when you have an essay to do, like Josh was doing a bunch of stuff, and we were talking about how like your brain will distract you with so many excuses and so many like hypothetical ways you could like get out of this instead of just doing it. And I was talking about that with him because he was like, I have all this to do, I have this to do, I have to do this portfolio. And I was like, one thing I have learned is just start and finish it completely. Because any distraction, and he just started coming up with like, oh well, but tomorrow I could you know what, I could honestly say I'm still on vacation for spring break, and I was like, dude, no, I could do that all day. Is just make up excuses in my brain how I could get out of this, and our brains love doing that instead of actually just doing it.
Yeah, and like what's interesting too is like, because like behaviorism, which is now ABA, is like also like trying to identify those inherent reinforcers for that behavior when you consistently do that. And it's like, oh, like what is it satisfying in me to continue putting this thing off?
Yeah. And it's like me and Sean's little video we made, Distraction Detours. It's exactly. What else could I like? You know what? Instead of getting the dopamine from doing the thing I should be doing, I can get dopamine by doing this other thing that like I didn't really need to be doing, but I've been putting off for a while, so I might as well do it right now instead of doing the actual thing I should be doing.
Yes, exactly. And so this is nice because this is reinforcing my training to become an RBT, because that's exactly what I'm learning is like how to help people through that.
Yeah, and dude, when
someone looked at me, they were like, you don't need to be taking that many notes on like these videos and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I know. And I was like, but honestly, this is like almost like self-help work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because learning about like how to figure out like the contact. Yeah. So
that's the ironic part of you being a social worker and me for a while talking about and still talking about mental health on a daily basis is like, oh shit, but like, how do I can use this. Yeah. Like I could use this. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. And so that leads us to then the next segment of have you ever dealt with our transition of the day? So transition of the week, of the day, whatever you want to call it, is mornings, like we said.
Waking up.
Hey, look at that. We both encountered that transition today.
Yes, we did. I think every human on this planet endured that today.
Yeah. And if you didn't, that's okay too.
Some people are doing it right now. Some people are just waking up. Somewhere around the world, someone's just waking up.
True. And I don't know if you've ever had this, but I have had that hyper focus and gone down the rabbit hole of, I woke up, what should I do next? And what does it look like in terms of what the world tells me to do? When should I be waking up, first of all? What routines should I have? What are some of those things that need to be done?
You gotta wake up. It's gotta be 4:30 in the morning because that's when that's when the world is the most quiet. That's when you can grind.
Exactly.
That's when you can get all your work done before noon.
Exactly.
Take a cold shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get into some of what the internet says here next. But Connie, what about you? What's your experience with the transition of waking up? We kind of talked about what you did this morning, but have you ever had like that attempt to make like a morning routine?
If I'm not hyper-focused on self-help.
Like, what does your usual morning look like? Yeah.
So if I'm not hyper-focused, like I remember in high school and in college, like there's hyperfixations in which I go through in which it is all about self-improvement. I'm like, let's be the most like efficient person.
And, like, best version
Yes.
of yourself.
It's very egotistical hyperfixation. You're like, I'm going to be the most efficient human there is on this planet.
Yeah.
And those, I literally did what all the stereotypical videos did. I woke up early, went immediately to the gym, started doing work, got everything I need. But it was easier because it was high school and college in which it was like assignments I had to be doing. So I was like, I'm going to do all my assignments in the morning.
Yeah. And I think this is where like our ADHD is really different because even though you don't stick with them long term, you have always stuck to things like that better than I have.
I've always stuck to them for there is hyperfixations in which I will stick to for more than a year.
And so at that, and like I have never been able to stick to like a morning routine that like I deem like morning routine perfect for more than like 3 days. Yeah,
but that's me now. Like genuinely, like it is a struggle. Like I used to, like I would hyper focus on working out, in which I was improving, but it came out of like an insecurity. But I did that for like a year and a half, and then I did TikTok for like a year and a half, where like I was so fixated on reaching a goal that was impossible. Yeah. That was like not like attainable at all or healthy. I was like negating a lot of other things in my life that I should have been focused on, but I was only focused on that one thing.
The expense of other things.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Like in every example of my hyperfixations that have lasted more than a year, I have genuinely like I threw away some very important things that are a part of living life, like to the wayside completely. Yeah. And so like, now in my life, I'm going through just like living life and taking it day by day. I'm not really hyper fixated on anything. I'm trying to just get a well-rounded, like good mental health. And
so what do your mornings look like now?
Now they look like waking up. Yeah. It's waking up probably after like 8.5 hours of sleep. And it's usually when I hear one of the dogs start crying, and I'm like, okay, the boys got to go outside. They have to pee. And so it's genuinely the motivation of the dogs.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I'm slowly turning into a dog. I do. I take out the dogs. I feel like most of my days is I'm mirroring the dogs. We take naps at the same time. before they have to go out and pee, I'll say, oh, wait, okay, I'll go pee first. And I'm like, huh, we're kind of synced up when it comes to peeing. And I've even noticed when we're on walks, I'll notice the squirrels before them. So, you know,
I love that.
I am turning into a dog.
Like a super chill like morning.
My version of a super chill morning?
No. You are in like a
yes, very much so. Do I wake up with like the crippling anxiety?
You don't have a routine, and it's almost like because you like don't need one. So like your routine is like waking up, taking the dogs out, and like just going about your life. And I think that's cool that like you're able to have that like natural routine.
That yes, and I take it for granted now that you say it. For sure. Okay. And I should probably appreciate it more.
Okay.
But
I think that's one of the good things about like this podcast is because that's a very like, let's be real, that's quite the privilege, dudes. So that's awesome.
It really is. Being an actor, getting a couple auditions a week, you know.
Yeah.
It's I should be posting more TikToks.
No, there's no shoulds. We're not shoulding.
You're right, we're not shoulding. But yeah, I am very privileged right now in my life, and yeah, I take that for granted for sure.
It's not that you take it for granted. You can understand and know your privilege and still appreciate and be thankful for it.
That is true. That is true. And
also like you are utilizing that as like an opportunity to improve upon things that are important. So
yeah. And I'd say my hyperfixation right now is probably honestly the dogs and the animals, because I have 3 now, and it's a lot.
Yes.
And one is still a baby, and yeah, I have every right to be hyper focused on it because he's only 10 months old. So
yeah. My mornings are pretty different.
Yes, please delve into your life.
I wake up to an alarm, except I usually don't wake up to my alarm.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, like, and that's like what I was excited to talk about with like this like topic, is because I am someone like I love like planning, like you notice, like I love my planner, and like I love the idea of like creating the like that girl routine.
Yes.
And there have been like, I honestly think the longest stretch I've gone with like actually executing a morning routine that I set out to execute. I think the longest I've gone is probably like a month.
That's good.
Yeah. But like even that, like it didn't include things that like I would have wanted it to. Like I have my like ideal morning that includes things like, you know, journaling, like setting intention, going through my planner, like reading, like basically trying to fit a whole day into a morning.
Yeah.
On top of like those things that like need to be done, of like, well, they don't need to be done, but that like I deem need to be done, of like, you know, getting myself looking presentable, like changing, brushing my teeth and doing that stuff. And so, like, I have, like, usually I'm pretty good about, like, I don't know. Like, I fall into those natural routines, but they're never, like, the routines that I want them to be. A huge part of it is because I suck at waking up in the morning. Yeah. Like, you always have. So bad at it. I always have. Like, I kid you not, I have no idea how Alex has dealt with me, because my alarm went off at 5:30. And I had alarms every 5 minutes starting at 5:30 until I got up. Like you were snoozing it the whole time? Oh, yeah. And like my thing though too is like, I don't even like consciously snooze it. I just don't wake up. Like I turn it off in my sleep, and then I wake up and I have no idea why it is not the time that I thought it was supposed to be. Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah. And like, and so like that is like really like the biggest barrier to like my morning routine. Because like pretty much every morning it's like really routine and like consistent, that like I do end up eventually. So like actually currently my routine is snooze for about 2 hours. Yeah. Finally wake up in a rush. Right. Panic. Yeah, go to the bathroom, and then depending on when I need to leave, it like means like the amount of like makeup I put on. And I'm one of those horrible, disgusting people that will sometimes like not wash my face at night and then put makeup on over the makeup from the day before in the morning because I didn't have enough time.
Okay.
Like, and then like throwing some like dry shampoo in my hair, and then like putting on clothes and that's like a normal morning. And then like rushing to take Banks out,
Yeah.
feeding him, trying to remember to take my pills, taking 2 sips of water.
Everything is catastrophic.
Everything is so rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when I say like I like that month, and this was I think like 2021, 2020-ish, like end of 2020. And like my morning, I never woke up in time to do like the planner stuff, but
Yeah.
I only snoozed for about 30 minutes so that I had time to like wake up, wash my face, do like some skincare, put on fresh makeup, curl my hair, get dressed, eat breakfast, make coffee, get my bag together.
Yeah.
And like that's like a not like ideal, but like a more like approachable
Yes.
for a routine. But for a while there this year, my routine was waking up, taking Banks out, sitting on the couch, attempting to plan and do like those intentions and stuff that I wanted, and then falling asleep on the couch for like 2 hours. Like to the point where like part of my, because like I use a really awesome planner system, I'm obsessed with it, Moxie Life. And like part of like Moxie Life that I'm like actually am pretty consistent with is like doing my weekly goals. And so like one of my weekly goals was like don't sit on the couch in the morning because I would fall asleep and it was like detrimental to my day.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, mornings are something like I've always struggled with and like that I do actively struggle with.
I think you need, because I've woken up this past week, 2 days of the week, I woke up in a very catastrophic, anxious mess. And I've noticed the days, first of all, not to be a person that throws supplements at you, but you should look into magnesium glycinate.
Love it.
Because it really helps with sleep.
I have heard of it, yeah.
It really helps with sleep. You wake up refreshed.
Yeah.
But also, you just need to wake up and you need that time for grounding. Like I think when you're taking out Banks, it's a great time to do it because when you're taking out your dog and you're looking around, it puts everything in perspective in your life. And like when you go back into the apartment, it's a lot smaller of a task than it was when you were in there.
There were like 4 days in like recently, not like super recently, but like within the last year where I was like, and I mean it, like 4 days was like my streak, but where I was doing daily Calm, and I love that.
Nice.
Like the Calm app. Yeah. By the way, none of this is sponsored by any of these brands that we say.
Not at
I'm
all.
about to say another one.
They could be. Wink, wink.
Moxie.
Hit us up.
And then this next one really like hit us up too because I would love to start using you again because that like month where I was like really good, I was using Brilly.
Oh, what's
Have you
that?
heard of that one?
No.
It's like an app created for like people with ADHD, and I was using the kid version because I had like fun icons.
Nice.
And what happened was like something changed with it, and then they like tried to get me to use the adult one, and what just ended up happening was I just wasn't waking up on time. And for those of you who are going to, because hopefully we'll have people listen to this, yes, I've used all of those like apps like Alarmy and everything like that. And that was what got me in the bad habit of falling asleep on the couch is because I would wake up to my like Alarmy app. You probably have never had to use this app.
I don't even know what that is.
So like the way I used it was like I had to like, you can't turn your alarm off until you go like take a picture or something.
Oh.
So I would have it to like where I needed to go take a picture of my fridge. But then that's what like screwed me over is because then like the couch was just on the way back to my bed. And so I would just like sit on the couch to like start my day.
That is
And
a smart app,
yeah.
though. That's a smart one.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. And so no, that's why like all this to say, I was very excited to talk about this topic because morning routines are something that I really struggle with. And not only that, but there's something that I understand like fundamentally the importance of them.
Yeah.
And because of that, I have done like obscene amounts of like internet searching and like
Yeah.
reading about mornings.
Yeah.
I was excited to chat about this.
But you know what? I was thinking about this the other day. It was so much easier waking up when I was so fixated on TikTok. There was days where I wouldn't sleep. And I don't know if that was mania because TikTok is straight up like a hard drug at the like it is
Well, I mean, it's consistent reinforcement.
it is a constant stream of dopamine, and it is probably more addictive than hard drugs. And like I would be excited. I would wake up every day so happy to be awake because I knew I'd be able to make another video.
I love that. And like that's my thing is like, and I think that's a huge reason why like I've wanted to like talk about this in like this fashion is because like that's one of the things that like for people with ADHD they always say like find that thing that's gonna get you excited.
Your forever fixation, yeah.
But my problem, or like not even like forever, just like your week's fixation.
Right, yeah, exactly.
My problem is that when I turn my alarms off first, I am not conscious or awake enough to think about those things.
Right. Right.
And so that has never worked because I can't wake up enough to be motivated to get up.
Yeah. Yeah. And even on those days, I would wake up in a definite manic state and like just be so impulsive.
Yeah.
I would order like constant new video equipment, make a video, and then I would just crash.
So this is not one of our recommendations.
No, like I would wake up so manic, go as fast, my brain was going a million miles per hour, do everything I could, upload a video, and then just crash. I would just fall asleep immediately.
Yeah, so that's not healthy either.
No, it's not. Because what would I not do during those times? I wouldn't reach out to my friends. I wouldn't eat food. I wouldn't drink any water. I was just so fixated on this little video app. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the responses to like this episode are going to be to you like, oh, nice job, Connie. Like I'm so like good. Like that sounds so awesome. I love your dogs. And then for me, they're going to be like, you need to do like a sleep study. Like they're just gonna be like, go see your doctor.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because there are days where I wake up and like when I woke up so anxious, like you're just like, you don't want to get up. I like one of the days of the week, I snoozed my alarm like 6 times.
I want to wake up.
Me too. Me too. Maybe we're just both depressed.
I can't physically get myself up.
Maybe we're just both depressed.
Well, that's how I know, because it's not the cognitive. It truly is the physiological. Like, I just am not awake enough.
Yeah. Yeah, because you need you need a reason to wake up.
Well, but see, that's the thing is I have the reasons.
You have the reasons, but you just like can't even wake up.
I just physically don't wake up.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I'm awake, I'm like happy, and I am I am such a morning person. Like I am too talkative, too chatty in the morning.
Yeah.
I just never wake up when I want to, because for everyone who like doesn't, for all of our listeners, I can wake up early. Like I made it to work on time.
Yeah, if there's enough pressure involved. Yeah.
Like most of high school, I worked at a coffee shop, so I was at work at 5:30 in the morning. And
you had external accountability.
Even in college, I worked at the gym, so I would start my shifts at 4:30 in the morning sometimes. But those days, I would be waking up 15 minutes before I had to leave, even though I set my alarms for 2 hours before. So I always had that.
See, I think that's the difference between our anxieties. Whenever I've had a job, like, I would always show up like 45 minutes before my shift, and I would just sit in the car, listening to music, and like not relaxing, not calming myself down, just seething in my anxiety, just sitting there just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go in. I don't want to socialize. I don't want to do anything. And like,
meanwhile, I show up. I'm like, I'm not late for work. Like, I'm a good employee, but I will show up like right on the dot.
yeah, that's crazy to me. I couldn't do that.
I'm almost like too peppy and too annoying in the morning.
Well, I think everybody with ADHD can relate to the fact we all wake up a little bit in a panicky, manicky, crazy mood. We're all talky.
Yeah.
We're all crazy. We're all like, we need the energy out. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So that's our experience with mornings.
Yeah.
And I've always been jealous of you because you have always been that person that you don't need an alarm to wake up.
I do now, more so.
Changed, but like, especially when we were growing up and stuff, like,
Yeah.
you were always an early riser.
I was always, well, and I think that was partially because of my anxiety, where like my brain would just immediately switch to its internal clock and like light sleep right before I woke up, and I'd always wake up like 5 minutes before my alarm.
Yeah.
But yeah, even before that, when I was a kid, I'd have that like our grandma gene where we always wake up at the same time every day. And like, I would do that. Yeah.
Once been me.
And I never needed an alarm. Yeah. Yeah. I wish I still had that. I could probably get back to it if I started meditating or something, but
yeah, true. Right. Maybe I could start that. I don't know, but no, like that's something like I've never had. And then like, because I am interested in this, like I have done, so like, this is kind of like a good transition. Like, because I have always been like envious of that trait, I have done like, that was the main reason I got a Fitbit, was so that I could track my sleep cycles.
Nice.
So I could better understand when to wake up.
I love that. I have a Fitbit too. I bought one like last month. Yeah.
Didn't work for me. So
Oh,
I could like look at those sleep cycles and like wake up at the like optimal time. Didn't work. I've had the Oura ring, which tells you the optimal time to wake up. Yeah, didn't work. Did not wake up on time.
Wow.
I have done research into like the chronotypes. Have you heard of that?
No.
Yeah, so it's like your chronotype. So it's like the idea of like what your circadian rhythm is, and like each person has. It's like absolutely a pseudoscience. But and so like they like recommend like what time you should wake up, or maybe it's not pseudoscience. Maybe I just don't know.
I love pseudoscience is my science.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, that never worked for me. Like I have done like the REM, like tracking, like all of it. And then again, I've tried pretty much every alarm that you can buy on the App Store. Tried it all, done all the research. And yeah, like I even for a while, because like one of the things that the internet always tells me to do is like wake up and drink a cup of water.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, internet, the problem is that I am never awake enough when I want to be awake to actually like have function of my hands. But for a while there, I was getting good at like, I would wake up and take like my ADHD meds, because like ADHD sites, when you're like looking up like mornings with ADHD, that's the things they study. That didn't work for me.
You woke up, immediately took it, and then you still
fell back to sleep.
But then when you woke up, did you feel really refreshed?
See, that's my problem, is I wake up and I'm always feel like happy and peppy.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's my thing. I just struggle to get,
Fascinating.
I know. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Like taking my.
Because I remember when I took meds, I used to do that, where I'd wake up, take the meds, fall back to sleep, and then you wake up like an hour later and you'd be like, I'm ready for the day.
Yeah, like that's what I was trying to say earlier when I was talking about like the work thing, is like I never have a problem. Like once my brain is awake enough, I am up. I'm with it. It is like, you would think I was a morning person because that is when I am most productive.
Yeah.
I just can never wake up when I want to.
That
or
is,
on time.
Yeah. No, and I understand. I've genuinely I've been like, this is so like I haven't woken up groggy in like a year. I don't know if it's anxiety related or not, but like when I'm up, I'm like, yep, I'm the same exact way I was last night. I'm woken up now. Let's go. There's no difference.
Yeah.
The dog needs to go out. I need a coffee.
Yeah.
So I feel that.
Yeah.
I was going to say something. I don't remember.
That's okay. But anyway, so speaking of which, because I struggle with this so much, like I said, I've done lots of research in the past, and then as per our podcast, I'm going to bring you some hot research and what the internet says about this.
Beautiful. And while you pull that up, this is what I was going to say.
Love it.
Like with your Fitbit thing, I remember in college and in high school, I would get so fixated on like counting calories, looking at how much like I was sleeping, and I would track it all. Like, and I did that for like a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah. And now, like, I did the Fitbit thing, I did the MyFitnessPal thing, and it lasted 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it was gone.
No, I feel that. Yeah.
I don't use it anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so, honestly, I feel like this is kind of like an offshoot, because I would like love to like seriously talk about like routines more in depth. Because that's basically what I'm studying right now, is like the reasons why. So people, if you want to hear like tangent episodes or like maybe like mini-sodes of like me talking about like the actual like behavior science behind routines and why that is, let us know.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Bring it to us.
But anyway, mornings specifically.
Yes, so what did you find?
This is from NBC.
Okay.
And it says 9 things to do this morning to make your whole day more productive. And so, again, I wanted to like really just get down to like the nitty gritty of what this podcast is. Like, you wake up, what next? What should you do, right? And this says, check off this AM to-do list and you'll have more energy and get more done all day long.
Nice.
And so this is brought to us by Sarah DiGiulio. Love that. And starts off with like a little bit of juxtaposition. So it talks about, that was exposition. Some mornings, everything goes right. Wake up before your alarm goes off. Your morning jog feels like playtime. I can't relate to that. Never been on. Actually, I did used to go on morning jogs in high school. But coffee tastes better and there's no traffic. Other days are not like that at all. Tell me about it, Sarah. I feel that. But so then she goes, talks more things. But then she really gets into it by saying, if you start the morning off on the wrong foot, you're already behind. And this is what Ellen Goodwin, a productivity expert and coach, whatever that means, is talking about.
What does that mean?
She recommends starting your morning with little wins.
That's like an ADHD coach. I'm like, I don't trust you.
Well, so this is one of my favorite lines, because so what I kind of did was we have this one and then I have one written for people with ADHD.
Okay. Well, I mean, we already have a productivity expert, so same thing, vice versa.
Well, so like, because you're going to laugh at this, like next line. She like kind of, she goes on and it makes it a little better, but energy equals willpower.
Energy equals willpower.
The most neurotypical.
Energy equals willpower. Oh, I fucking wish, man.
Isn't that, yeah? And so I feel like that's one of the things that like is so important. Like as we're talking about like this topic and then so many other ones going on, is like, like,
neurotypicals, yeah, no, I agree. That's a neurotypical thing, because every neurodivergent's like, sometimes when I have more energy, the more I shut down.
Exactly. The less willpower I have. Yeah. Like, so that's one thing that actually, like, I've been, like, reading about. This is a little off topic, but that's okay, because that's what this podcast is about, is how, like, especially for people with ADHD, or like people with ADHD and anxiety in particular, it's not that we lack motivation, it's that we lack task initiation.
Yes. 100%.
And
that's it.
Like that is one of the defining features between like anxiety and ADHD versus depression, because when you're depressed, you don't have the motivation.
Right.
But with ADHD, you will sit there forever wanting to do the thing.
When you're depressed, you don't even care about the thing.
Exactly.
When you have ADHD and anxiety, vice versa, I think they both, like, task paralysis is both an anxiety and ADHD thing. It is truly just starting.
Exactly.
Starting.
And so that's why I was like, all right, Ellen, I don't know if you could not be a coach for me, because no, my energy does not equal my willpower.
Yeah, but that's already off to a rocky start.
Yeah. But she goes on to talk about circadian rhythm, which we all know, so natural body clock. And then we get into the good stuff. So, this is also contributed from both Ellen Goodwin and Goel, a biological psychologist and behavioral neuroscientist.
Okay.
So these are their recommendations. These are the best things you can do to start your day.
Okay.
And I'm excited because I've tried all of these, and again, I just can't wake up to do some of them. Anyway, so plan ahead. One of the most productive things you can do to start your day on the right foot should actually happen before you go to sleep.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, and like that's one of the big things that like consistently shows up as you're like looking up this topic is like it starts like a good morning starts with your nighttime routine.
Sometimes the motivation is literally just the outfit you're going to change into. Yeah. And like, but I think one of the things that like I struggle with is like that's where I have like the version of like motivation versus task initiation is I have the motivation to have a nightly routine, but I never actually get myself to initiate the task. I procrastinate it, and then I'm so tired. Anyway. Well, that's where meds helped me for a long time because now I don't have a nightly routine. But like when I was on meds, I would set up my outfit for the next day. I would.
See, that's so good.
And so like that was the motivation. I was like, I set up my day for success with the night before. So I 100% agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
Those things. Yeah, like I definitely like I 100% agree that like that is what like sets off your morning in a right way. But like
definitely
I just struggle with like actually doing those things the night before.
You got to be Michael Scott with the George Foreman grill. You got to have that bacon cooking right at your bedside. Yeah.
Exactly. Don't burn your foot.
Yeah, just don't burn your foot.
But one of the things that I do agree with too, and what I like that she mentions is that like one of the main reasons why you want to do this is because it avoids decision fatigue in the morning, which is great.
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely. And like that is one of the main things that like because even if you're like me and you don't have that girl routine, my mornings are routine. Like I do the same things over and over again, and it's because I like. And that's just like that inherent what I do in the morning. And it's because I know no matter what, I'm going to try to like, I'm going to look at my face and do something to it. I'm going to look at my hair and do something to it. But yeah, so then she goes on to say habits that get you out the door in the morning without having to stress over decisions enables you to have more willpower to make other decisions during the day. And that is absolutely right.
You know what my brain did though? You know what my brain started doing? I adopted the idea of, especially when I started like going to the gym more, was my brain adopted, I'll skip the nightly routine and just wear exactly what I'm going to wear tomorrow to bed.
You know what? That's planning ahead though. And that's also like taking away that decision fatigue.
Yeah.
No, that absolutely works for some people. And I think like what I do like about what she's saying here is because it reminds me of the spoons theory, which is something I'm sure I'll talk about more. But if you guys don't know it,
how many spoons you have to allocate,
And so, like, planning ahead, like, allows you to not have to spend a spoon so early on, you know?
Right.
Okay, number 2, resist the snooze. Yeah, if it was that easy.
Resist the snooze. Just do it, Haley. Hey, Haley.
Do it.
Just do it. Let's skip all this bullshit. Just, just do it. Get a planner. Stop snoozing your alarm. Wake up at 4. Take a cold shower.
You know what I love that is too? Because those 10 extra minutes of shut-eye, 2 hours extra of shut-eye, tend to be low quality light sleep. Girl, I know. I
Yeah.
don't sleep well in those 2 hours.
To everybody on the Just Audio podcast, my previous statements were purely ironic.
Yes. But yeah, and so yeah, resist the snooze because yeah, I know this. You're not getting actual good sleep.
Why don't you have the willpower in you?
Dude, I don't.
Where is it?
I lost it. It's probably under the bed with Vince. He probably stole it.
Probably stole it.
Yeah.
Get it back from your dog.
Yeah, right. And then she says part of this resist the snooze is turning in at night and waking up at the same time every day.
That's smart.
Yeah, it is smart. I absolutely agree. But
There's nothing better for an ADHD brain than routine and more accountability.
It's true.
I think if you force yourself to, because there's a difference between task initiation, motivation, and pure self-discipline.
Yeah.
I think there are rules that if you truly want to do something, there are some things that shouldn't be something you have to initiate, but should be second nature.
Right.
And not to sound like and not to sound like an asshole, but like there are genuinely things that like there are like when it comes to ADHD, discipline is not different. Like we are able to be disciplined, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I make it to work on time every morning.
Every day.
I don't journal.
Right.
Just means
Because that's discipline.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
No, it is.
And you can set those rules for yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a difference between neurotypical and neurodivergent when it comes to self-discipline. I don't.
agree.
Because I think we're even better at it. In my opinion.
I think like you need to learn self-discipline because I think that's where I struggle. And I think that's like a huge difference of us is I need that external discipline. Because I don't keep my commitments to myself.
Yeah, and I think you need to I think that's one thing you need to do is like set a rule book for yourself. What are the rules that I want to apply to my own life, you know?
And so it's funny because I was just in one of my trainings today, we were talking about that of like there are like those different skills and then there are like the skills that you need to learn skills.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like that's one of my major things is that I never truly learned the skill of self-discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why I struggle so much with the skill of waking up on time and committing to a routine.
Yeah, and
like absolutely right.
And it does take a lot of work, like to prioritize yourself as easily as it is to like take out your dog or like do something for someone else to do for yourself. Like there are like, and this is hypocritical in my life right now because there's been weeks where I've been depressed and like, you know, it really does change, but there are certain things in which like there are like rules that I have that are as easy as taking out the dog that I apply to myself.
Yeah. And so maybe that's something that like I'll have to do some like more research into is like working on how to like develop my own self-discipline. Because no, you're like absolutely right.
And I will say that depression can really throw it all off because when you're depressed and you go through like states
that's
of
one of the main things that's different between us two. And sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good.
I've never struggled really with like depression. Like my depression has always been like that side effect. I can't think of what it's called, but like the side effect of like ADHD related like depression and like, lack of motivation. I've never had like true like depression.
Wow.
I struggle with like anxiety and like the hyperarousal and like ADHD and like that stuff so much more than anything else. And so or maybe I just like haven't. I don't know. Maybe I just fool myself. Because I can't.
No, I mean it's maybe you haven't.
But no, I mean I think like you know you're absolutely right. Of like, I think a huge part of it is me just like working to implement accountability for like those mornings and like things like that.
Right. And it's finding the body double and the external accountability, the external pressure within yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what I was going to say, because I don't want to sound like a dick, because when I am in a, like right now, I have been working towards goals. I have a lot of things going on, and but when I am in like a depressive state, like all of the self-discipline things I'm saying right now go the fuck out of the window, which is okay. And so, but like I do genuinely believe like I think we are capable of discipline as neurodivergents. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that everyone has them, but
that extra support, because I think again, like that's something like that you need to learn, and like that is something that like in my job, like part of my job is like teaching and helping people do that. But yeah, and it's funny because there are like differential reinforcement and like which is like a different ways to like reinforce those things, and it's like a huge aspect of like ABA, and so that's I just need to start implementing those things in my own.
Yeah, like
because like part of it is like proximity, so like so the next one is drink water, and like a huge part of that, and like a way to get yourself to do that would be to just have water next to you, or like, for me
that doesn't work for me
of like filling the like Brita.
That works for me to a certain extent. But my brain is so stubborn sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll be so paralyzed where like I'm just like Yeah. Like I'll be doing something and I'm like, I should probably drink water. It's right next to me. It's completely full. But I think it's a part of myself where I'm like, I don't deserve it until I do this.
Ooh, that's tough. Yeah. And that's...
I don't know what that is.
that again shows the difference in you and I, is because I struggle with like self-prescribed like rewards and like self-prescribed token economies, because I'm just like, oh, I'll give myself the water. I did enough. I'll just do it. And so, no, that's interesting. Yeah, we'll keep exploring these things.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is meditate, which I love, and I
love that.
Agree with.
Yeah,
like
I wish I did it more.
I know, I wish I did it more too.
I wish I made that a part of my like rules that I should do every day.
Right? Yeah, and like one of the things that I really love about this is it says, like this article, is it says, try journaling or coloring. Both activities have the same effect as meditation. You know, I love coloring. And so I love that idea because it absolutely does. And like, I am not very good at like sitting down to just meditate, but when I turn my brain off, and like coloring is like absolutely the way for me to do.
Well, that's the same thing as like hyperfocus.
They're different. They're different.
I think I've made a video about this actually. You know what?
They're different because
I think I've made a video about this.
Between like a meditative state versus hyperfocus versus like flow state.
Flow state. Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Those are all different.
But yes, okay, I completely agree.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And I think like that's something that like I need to have the self-discipline to prioritize.
Yeah, it is different.
That is as important as making it to work on time, is setting aside time for me to center myself in the morning and like sit down and color or something. And
I think setting up those things for yourself every day is coming out of is truly, because like I'm saying with like the depression and you throwing them out the window when I'm depressed and the self-discipline and stuff, it is coming out of a place of self-love.
No, it is. And that's what it should be.
Yeah. And so like when you're coloring and meditating and you're like that, to do those things, you have to it comes out of a place of, I'm going to do this thing for self-improvement. And I feel like a lot of people with our brains, yeah. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people with our brains, we don't necessarily, we are not our own mental states are not the priority in our own lives.
Or you're like me and you're not present enough to take stock of your own mental state to understand the imperativeness of taking care of it. Because of course that intrusive thought that I just had while you were saying that was like, oh, well, dang, I guess I don't love myself enough to do these things in the morning. But I care enough about external validation of not being late.
Well, and that's a thing also that happens with our disorganization and priority tasking, because even though you're wanting to do these things to improve yourself,
I want to have that morning routine,
and it's not because you don't love yourself enough. You want to do those things to improve yourself. It's literally trying to get your frontal lobe to make that a priority.
To recognize that is a priority.
Right, to even recognize that it is a priority.
Yep, because that is why I don't wake up. That is why I won't wake up to journal, but I do wake up when I only have 15 minutes to get to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, this is good. This is good stuff.
This is good. I love this podcast. This is like therapy.
I know. Well, it's not therapy.
Well,
full disclosure, this is not therapy.
This is therapy for me.
But this is a therapeutic self-care activity for us. Get outside in the sun, which we talked about. Love that.
I love the sun. I feel so much better that it's been sunny here in Michigan.
Yeah.
That's probably why I'm on today. Last time we filmed the podcast, it was probably snowing. And now today it was 67 degrees, and I feel so good. Yeah. I can walk outside and not worry.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite things, and that is something that I do regular, like routinely, is I do get outside in the morning to take things out, which is nice because he's like my little kid.
You're so lucky. You're in North Carolina.
I know, the sun shines here a lot, except when it rains.
All the time.
Make coffee at home. Love a good cup of coffee. Eat breakfast. That's important, and that is one of those things that is first to go, or not first, because we already said my self-care tasks are the first to go off the list when I don't wake up on time, but breakfast is a close second. Because I'll just like not do breakfast. That's
one of the things I've recently noticed is one of my things where I am constantly doing now, because if I don't do it, I used to feel nauseous if I ate breakfast, but now I'm at the point where I feel nauseous if I don't, so I need to get something in my stomach. What?
Yeah. You and Mom both are like that. She says that about breakfast too.
I need to get something in my stomach or else I'm fucked for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Okay, and then the final 9th tip is spend time with your family and friends. So call someone who makes you smile while you're getting ready or walking to the office. Being with people you like and love can serve a big boost to your mood. And I will say, so even though like for a while I was on a really good like routine and like consistency of, it wasn't my ideal routine, but I was doing a good job of waking up with enough time to actually sit and do my makeup. And while I would do my makeup, I would Marco Polo with Marissa and Ashley. And I loved that.
Nice.
And that was like, truly was like a really great way to start my morning.
It always feels better when you're reconnecting with someone. It is hard.
I really do agree with that.
I don't know why. That is one of my things I am so bad at.
Yeah.
It's the main source of my anxiety, honestly, if I'm being honest.
I haven't poloed them back since November. Hi, if they're listening. They probably are because they're great. And
Marco,
like all my
hello.
friends who are probably listening.
But
yeah, no, I'm horrible about it.
To everybody I haven't responded to, I am deeply, deeply sorry. It's not, I can't, there's no excuse. There's no excuse.
Me and we can talk.
I
said start a podcast with me and we can talk about it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I've only reconnected and talked to my sister every week because of this podcast.
I know, right? Yeah.
No, it is true. And I don't know if it's like trust issues or like friendships falling out, but it is so hard for me moving around maybe, I don't know, but it is so hard for me to keep connected with people.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, so we are running pretty long. I've loved this conversation, but I do just want to, I did find some good Reddit stuff because that's where I go a lot of times to feel connected to people who also struggle to wake up. But then, I don't know if you've heard of Inflow.
Yeah, you were talking about it to me the other week. Yeah.
I've used Inflow before, yeah.
Yeah.
They're an app for like ADHD, and they had an article about that's called "How to Make a Morning Routine with ADHD and Why You Should." And then I was specifically drawn to this one because the like tagline under it said, "Let's get motivated to finally stick to a routine." And LOL, again, I am motivated to stick to it. I just struggle with sticking to it. We won't blame them too long.
Yeah.
And then what I love about all of their articles is they have a too long didn't read.
Yes. Yes, I love that about Reddit. It's always nice. Yeah.
Oh no, this isn't Reddit. This is Inflow.
Oh, okay. Wow. Very nice.
Yeah. And so they're TLDR because we won't go through the full thing, even though it is a nice short article, which is great. And there are 3 steps. Actually, I will just go through it. The 3 steps of how to create a routine from Inflow for people with ADHD. Create an evening routine. Yep. Love that. We've already chatted about that.
I can create a routine all day, but it doesn't mean I'm going to do it.
I know, right? But what I like about this, and maybe this is something that I need to like look into, but it says at the bottom of this one, because it starts to talk about your circadian rhythm, and it says it should be noted that many ADHDers also struggle with at least one comorbid condition that affects sleep, including delayed sleep phase syndrome.
Huh.
So maybe I should look into that.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that I really need to do, and this is an excellent step that I really love. It says step 2, reframe your self-talk. I love reframing.
Yeah, we could all do that, yeah.
And so it says, self-talk may not seem like it would have an impact on sticking to morning routines, but it does. Our self-talk
100%.
is decision-making, core beliefs, and even daily habits. And yeah, my self-talk surrounding mornings, especially in this episode, have been so negative.
Well, and that's the root of, like, task paralysis, because there's a difference between being lazy, because when you're lazy, you don't feel bad for being lazy. Mm-hmm. People that are lazy don't feel bad for it. They know, they're aware of it. They're watching TV. They're like, oh, I know. Yeah, I'm being lazy right now. I'm chilling. People that are, like, people with neurodivergencies that are being called lazy, they feel bad for sitting there and not doing anything. And it's self-talk that's, like, killing them because they're saying, I shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing something else. And so that is huge, yeah.
Yeah, so I love that they put that in here. And I don't necessarily agree with their example because, again, I don't think that's something I struggle with. I love going to bed early, but it says inner critic version is I don't want to go to bed early because I want to spend that time watching my favorite shows. Reframe, going to bed earlier is irritating, but my new routine makes me feel rested, focused, and less overwhelmed. Even if it takes a lot of trial and error, I'll keep trying until I get it right.
Aww.
Wow, I needed to say that out loud.
Yeah.
That was nice. That's true, because
it's good.
Okay, and then find the tools that work for you, which I think is, so important. And then, because like I said, I did find a tool that worked for me for a while. Sadly, it stopped working, but again, I think it's always important to try again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they say like ADHD management apps, to-do lists. One of the things that I really love, and this is where I'm going to plug some of the things that I love to use when it comes to like implementing and like some of the really like nice, compassionate and like effective and just really like trauma informed, like neurodivergent friendly things that have helped me when it comes to routines is Casey Davis. And then, again, my Moxie Life Planner, and I'm in Club Moxie, which I love, and they have, a whole thing about, routines, but even more than that, they have a whole thing about, rhythms, which is, which is what, I'm trying to focus on more, and, kind of how I'm reframing some of my, morning struggles, is it's not about doing the same tasks every day, it's about getting into the rhythms and, creating and cultivating those rituals that are so important. And so
Yeah.
I love like that reframe of like
That's good.
doing that. And then Casey Davis is just awesome. She has some really great resources and like tools on her website about like visual schedules and stuff like that. And I think that's something that I need to like implement and work on, because that's what I loved about Briley.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I really liked this article, and I think, yeah, this conversation has been great.
Yeah, this has been good. I will also say exercise also.
Yes.
Exercise makes everything in your life seem more tangible. Everything in your life makes you stop micro thinking and more macro thinking. Every single thing that you have in life just seems, the 5-minute task that you've been pushing off seems so much easier and more tangible, and you can do it just so simple when you exercise. It puts you in such a outer scape of yourself in which life is more simple. And I will say that even if you're on meds, even if you have your own little routine, implement exercise, because that is the one thing that has helped me the most in life is with ADHD is exercise.
Well, I'm gonna change that a little bit. And this is me as like just a human, and then also like the social worker coming out. I'm gonna reframe that and say not exercise, but joyful movement.
Sure.
Because like for me, exercise, when I think of exercise, I think of it as like punishing.
Okay.
And no, like I'm being serious though. Like this, like exercise to me is like forcing myself to do 10 push-ups. Okay. And that's not going to make me feel motivated. That's going to start a cycle of negative self-talk of, I suck at this.
Right. I see what you're saying.
The way I want to.
Yeah, maybe I sound like the bad guy here. Yeah.
No, you don't.
Okay.
That's what works for some people.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying, like, for me, I need to reframe that as, no, I need to implement joyful movement, because exercise doesn't do what you described. Joyful movement does what you described.
See, yeah, because in my brain it's just exercise, like pushing myself. Yeah. Like,
and see, that does not work for me. That just starts that negative self-talk spiral.
Yeah, I know, and I mean, like, even just getting out a little bit. Like, there was one day at the gym where I just did one exercise, and then I was like, I'm out. I'm tapped out. Can't do it. Yeah. Just doing like a little bit every day, just going on a walk, just doing something, moving a little bit genuinely makes life a lot less scary.
Yeah. And so basically you woke up, what next? Take care of yourself, I guess, is like the thing that we've realized. And I think
not even take care of it. I think just ground yourself.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Ground yourself.
And I think ground yourself, and like, it's not even like that what next you woke up, but like we were saying, it's like that pre-planning, like take that time to figure out.
Because now in my head, taking care of yourself scares me like the way exercise scared you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because because taking care of yourself means a routine and following a certain order of things, which scares me. But when I'm grounded, I'm not as scared, and I do it inherently, you know?
So,
wait, what'd you say? Say that again? I think you muted yourself. Hello? Oh no. Oh no. How do I do it? Hello? Hello. Okay, good.
Hello? Okay. So you woke up, what next? Ground yourself. Ground yourself through meditation.
Yeah.
Talking with friends. Moving your body. Prioritizing. Figuring out what you need to do in the day. And I think, But
that can lock you up, though. Prioritizing can really lock you up.
I think my biggest takeaway of, like, what next, of, like, waking up when I finally do wake up. Well, so first of all, that's my big takeaway is that I think I really want to, in order to like improve my mornings, I really want to start working on like some self-discipline, skill building.
Mm-hmm. Like training yourself.
Yeah, like training and like that self-discipline and like working to, because I think like that's really where it all starts is like working to like keep those commitments to myself.
Yeah, make it muscle memory instead of a task that you have to initiate. Make it muscle memory. Yeah. Make it brushing your teeth instead of
Well, let's be real. Sometimes it's struggle to brush.
Yeah, that's also tough because especially at night. Like in the morning, it's a little easier because I'm like I don't want to
brush my teeth.
Really?
That's something you never. Yeah.
Well, you know what really gets me is when the girlfriend is like, "Dude, brush your teeth." I'm like, "Yep, all right, great."
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that accountability. Yeah. And so I think if you're like Connor, your what next in the morning is just focus on those things that ground you.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, then you woke up, what next? Let's work on that like self-discipline together. And also like bringing in accountability.
Yeah, and by self-discipline, it's more like
like that neutral.
It's not like a scary discipline. It's like make it more of a natural discipline. Yeah.
Like prioritizing my self-care.
Yes. Yeah. Because self-discipline, after I said it sounds scary.
And like holding myself as like a same value as I do like workplaces and stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Because the commitments I make to myself are just as important as the commitments I make to other people.
Yes. You are important.
And I think that is where I struggle most with the mornings is because I don't think like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I need to get better at that too. Because I'm like...
I think we all do.
What does everybody else in my life need right now? And I'm like, you know what? No, I need to wake up. I need to do my hair, take a shower.
Exactly. And I think it's going to be interesting to see where, like, this is, like, mornings are a huge part and, like, place that, like, my lack of commitment to myself shows up. And so it'll be interesting to see where yours does.
Let's do it. I think next episode we will give each other a great update and see after this episode how our mornings have improved. And we will talk about our next topic, which is...
I think I have ADHD.
Okay. We're going to do ADHD, so it'll be more ADHD talk. Great.
But yeah, drop us a comment, drop us a DM, interact with us on social media about what your favorite thing to do in the morning is.
Yeah.
And also, fun breakfast. Let's do that too.
Fun breakfast.
Because as we learned today as well, eating and fueling your body is important too. So
yes.
What do you like to eat for breakfast?
Yes, and often neglected sometimes.
Yeah.
So, what are you guys eating in the morning? Let us know, and we will talk to you next week on What Next.
See you next week on What Next.
See you later, guys.
Bye.